Happy Sunday, October 26, 2025. We're going to talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. I feel like it is important if you are a federal student loan borrower to have an understanding of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act as it applies to federal student loans. I feel like borrowers for too long have walked around not informed and having no idea about the loans that they are repaying. These loans don't go away. So it's important that we have an understanding of these changes. The passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act has changed the landscape of repayment, and it's important that we understand what that landscape now looks like. Not only that, how to read the One Big Beautiful Bill Act as it applies to federal student loans, and I want to show you that to kind of maybe cut down a little bit on the anxiety of looking at the information. Sometimes I feel like if we have an understanding and break it down a little bit more, then it's not as scary to look at in a sense. Okay. First thing we're going to look at is this Dear Colleague letter. It was published on the 18th of July. This is on the FSA website. And basically what this colleague letter speaks about is that when the One Big Beautiful Bill Act was signed into law on the 4th of July, how things were amended in the Higher Education Act. Certain provisions in the Higher Education Act were amended. And then also what changes came about with the enactment, with the passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Okay, so these are some of the things that were changed. One of which was changes to income-based repayment. What the One Big Beautiful Bill Act did was eliminated the requirement for borrowers to have a partial financial hardship to qualify for enrollment in income-based repayment. So what that means is that if you are someone who may have tried to apply for income-based repayment, and because of that partial financial hardship, you were denied access to the program. But with the passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a partial financial hardship is no longer something that will prevent you from getting into this repayment plan. Okay. Also, Parent Plus loan repayment options. The One Big Beautiful Bill allows for borrowers with a consolidation loan that repaid a Parent Plus loan to enroll in an IBR plan effective upon enactment. So what happens when you take out Parent Plus loans, you would need to consolidate that loan into a direct consolidation in order for you to have access to a income-driven repayment plan. Usually borrowers who took on Parent Plus loans, the only plan that was available was income contingent repayment. We know that income contingent repayment, that plan is going to be phased out by the 1st of July 2028. But what this means is that if you have a Parent Plus loan and you consolidate that loan, and that consolidation needs to be completed by July 2026. I can't think of the date off the top of my head, but it's in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. July 2026, you need to have that consolidation and also have yourself enrolled in income contingent repayment. What that means is that you'll be able to transfer over into income-based repayment once that plan has been eliminated. Loan limits for part-time students. The act also reduces the amount of a loan that a student may borrow for an academic year if the student is enrolled in the program of study less than a full-time basis during that academic year. Goes on to more information about that. Public service loan forgiveness, what the bill did as well. It amended PSLF program to allow for payments made under the newly created repayment assistance plan to count towards loan forgiveness. Of course, if all other eligibility criteria are met. The RAP was created by the OBB and will be in effect no later than July 1st, 2026. So what that means is that if you are making payments, you qualify for public service loan forgiveness, the new repayment assistance plan will also count as a qualifying repayment plan for the purposes of PSLF. It also delayed the implementation of the Biden administration's borrow defense to repayment regulations. The previous Trump administration borrowed defense to repayment regulations that were effective beginning July 1st, 2020 will be effective as if the regulations were never amended during the Biden administrations. And it tells you for loans that originated before July 1st, 2035. So what happened was under borrower's defense, what the Biden administration what they had tried to do was to kind of make a standardized rule for borrower's defense applications that were pending or any type of future applications. And under this rule, it kind of made it a little bit easier for borrowers to get their loans discharged under borrower's defense. Well, because of that, there was a group of colleges who were like not happy about this rule. And so they contested it. And because of this court ruling or this lawsuit, however you want to put it, because it wasn't settled, what that it allowed is for the Trump administration to come in and to delay the effectiveness of that court rule. And what they did was they delayed it until 2035. So what that means is that if things were to happen in court and this rule was to become part of regulation, it would not be effective for any loans that were created prior to 2035. Okay, so that's what that means with this borrower defense repayment regulation. Also, things with closed school discharge, and it also delayed the implementation of that. So for any loans that originate prior to the 1st of July, 2035. But let's go to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, because like I said, it's important to understand how to read the information, okay? So that way you can go in and see how this information here is applied like in real time with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. So basically what you can do is just go to Google, type in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, and the first thing you're going to see is congress.gov. You're going to click here. And what that'll do is it'll take you into the text of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. But I like the PDF version of it, because what the PDF version does, it allows you to be able to type or to search within the document. So that is why we're going to go into the PDF version of it. And you want to make sure that you zoom in on it, okay? Because the text can be a little small. So you want to zoom in on the information so that way you're able to see everything clearly. When you get into the I keep saying the Higher Education Act because I was just there. But when you get into the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, it's a lot of information. Like I said, it's over 300 pages worth of information. But when you get here, it'll start to break it down. You'll see the table of contents first, but inside the table of contents, this is where you're going to see the titles. And each one of these titles, it is broken down into subtitles. You'll see sections. You'll also see chapters and also subchapters. So depending on what it is that you're looking for, if you're someone here that needs to utilize the Big Beautiful Bill Act for something outside of higher education, then this is where you'll start to look at the titles to see what the name is. So that way you'll know what it is that you need to look for. But for the purposes of student loans, we are going to go into Title 8, because Title 8 is where we need to be, where it speaks about all the information that we just looked at on the FSA website. So we're going to just scroll down. So like you'll see, the title will start here. You'll see the subtitle, and then it'll get into the sections. Okay. Now, if it is a title that has chapters, then you'll see all of that. Okay. But we're going to keep scrolling down. Okay. Because we're still in, this one is still Title 1. You can tell based off the sections what the title is. So you'll see that 1 here. So section, it'll start with a 1. So we know that we're still in Title 1. Okay. But we're going to keep going. Okay. We get it into the next title, Title 2. So you'll see sections, and that's where you're like, all right, I'm in Title 2. So things have started to change. Title 3, you'll see the section of 3. Title 4. Okay. We're going to keep going. We're in Title 5. Okay. And our title is 8. We got Title 6 here. We're going to keep going. Title 7. Keep going. And Title 7 is pretty big. Okay. All right. And then we're going to keep scrolling. Okay. And then as you can see, Title 7 gets into chapters and subchapters. Like I said, that's a pretty big title. All right. Keep going, because we're still in 7. All right. And here we are. We are in Title 8. So Title 8 speaks about Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. Okay. So this is where we get. So we're in our Title 8, get to our subtitles, and then we get to our sections. Okay. And this is where we see all the information that is connected to federal student loans. So it gives you subtitle B, loan limits. I'm sorry, I skipped over A. Subtitle A, exemption of certain assets. Subtitle B, loan limits. C, loan repayment. And then it breaks it down into sections, okay? So section 81001, establishment of loan limits for graduate and professional students and parent borrowers. So if you are someone that falls in that category, then you know you want to go and read more about section 81001. If your concern is about loan repayment, section 82001. We get down into 82002, 3, 4, and 5, where it speaks about deferment, forbearance, rehabilitation, PSLF, and also student loan servicing. Subtitle D speaks about Pell Grants. E, accountability. Subtitle F, regulatory relief. And this is where it speaks about the delay of the borrower defense repayment and closed school discharge. Okay. Now, depending on what section is that you want to go to, and like I said, the PDF file allows you to search within it. So what you can do, let's say if yours is your concern is about loan repayment. All you do is just highlight this information here, the section, copy it, paste it here into the magnifier, and then hit enter. And it's going to take you there. And this is where you'll be able to read the information about loan repayment. And this is where it says transitioning to income-based repayment plans. The Secretary of Education shall take such steps as it may be necessary to ensure that before July 1st, 2028, each borrower who has one or more loans that are in repayment status in accordance with or an administrative forbearance associated with an income contingent repayment plan, and they give you more information about the Higher Education Act, and it goes more or less into what is going to happen. Now, not only that, it gives you the section that is connected to the Higher Education Act as well, where you can go there to read more information or to read to see where these amendments and things have taken place. Just highlight it, copy it. Once again, go back to Google, okay? Take that highlighted that you've copied, paste it there into Google. I didn't mean to put that note there, but 20 U.S.C. 1087E, going to go into here, Cornell Law, and this is where you'll see the terms and conditions of the loans. So everything that is connected here, if you want to just cross-reference back into the Higher Education Act, you just highlight it, copy it, paste it into Google, and it will take you over to the information. That way, if you're someone that's just interested more or less and just learning more about what's happening, then this is the way that you do it. It tells you graduate and professional annual and aggregate limits for federal direct unsubsidized Stafford loans beginning July 1st, 2026. So it's important to know how much you may borrow in an academic year if you're a graduate student or a professional student. Also, it speaks about the limits. So all of that information is here, and actually, and it gives you the definition, so that way you'll know if that terminology is speaking to you. Okay. So this is just some way, like I said, it's just us becoming more informed. I know a lot of people use Chat GPT as well. If this is information and you're looking here and you're still overwhelmed, you may be, take it and highlight the information here, copy it, paste it into Chat GPT, and ask the system to break this down for you in, regular terms, layman terms. So that way, if you need a further breakdown of the information, because it's still not, connecting here, to break it down a little bit more for you to help you out. I hope that this helps. Like I said, it's just more or less becoming more informed. These changes are happening whether we learn the information or not. But I think that learning the information helps a lot. I think for myself, it's cut down on a lot of the anxiety that comes into play sometimes when there's changes that happens. Plus, I just like to know. I'm just more or less, I like to do research. But learning the information, knowing where to find it, I think helps out. I hope that this was helpful to you. If not, let me know, or if so, let me know. And if there's anything, any questions that I can answer for you, I'd be happy to do so.